Hi guys, welcome to the Team Rain Trade channel. We are today here with Daniel Hartmann, who got 6th place at the Dutch Open today with a 7-1 record. Tell us, what did you play?
I decided to play Ryzeal Pure. We didn't have much testing in the format, but like we like basically Zio, Zap, and me and Ka came together and we built the deck on Friday. And we felt like Pure is still a pretty good choice because like the main downfall of the deck earlier was the lack in consistency, and now with the new Tachyon spells, it got more consistent, and we felt like a mixture of board breakers and hand traps is still the way to go. And I'll just show you the deck and we will go from there. For the Ryzeals, I played everything as you would expect it. The 10 names. There is absolutely nothing to say. Then we had one field spell, one cross. Also good with the Tachyons, that you don't need to run 2 offs anymore of semi-optimal cards. Then the 3 searcher spells, 1 fire and the Tachyon. Shout out to Kubi for this. Then as the bridge, because we play some breakers, we have Prosperity in the deck because it functions as engine and board breakers as well. Then one Callback Grave because I think it's really good against Fiendsmith decks still, and we don't have a secondary engine in the deck, so we need some cards as a second layer that help us resolve Dual Drive going first. So we decided to run multi-purpose cards like Called By, Talents, and Books, because they all are very good going first and going second, because they either, like, if Dual Drive gets hand trap, you look at the hand, and this helps you to resolve Dual Drive in the first place, and both, like, all of these do a lot going second in a deck like Ryzeal, because like X, which you have a lot more access to with the Tachyon spell, is a board breaker on its own basically, and then we complemented that with a couple of hand traps. We went with this and this as our low impact hand traps basically, because Fuvalos and Borrelia post side, so I feel like Ash has to be somewhere on the list, and Ogre is there because it has slightly better coverage. We debated about playing Ogre or Imperm, and we felt like we had enough board breakers already, so Ogre is a better hand trap, and therefore we went with that. And then for the Floodgate hand traps, we decided to run this. I think Ryzeal is a deck that can comfortably play cards like this, because you don't need to interrupt them fully or put them on 0 interruption with the hand traps, because like the engine is able to play through half boards very, very good. So this is insane against basically everything, or especially against Ryzeal decks. And decks like Malice we decided to cover in the side deck. Talking about the side deck, this is what we decided to play, because it's a regional and it's still very good against Pure, and this deck doesn't need to rely on drawing one non-engine card going second. You are expected to have multiple, like 2 or 3, and in combinations this is very, very strong, because like it trades very favorably. Then we played all the Melisade basically, because the deck is ridiculous and we don't cover it in the main deck. So I faced 2 Malice and like, I don't know, and 1 Crystron. Crystron was my only loss, by the way. I didn't know the cards, and I don't know, maybe I could have won. I'm not sure yet, but like, I don't know. That's what happens when you don't have enough time to put into test, I guess. Then you just don't get the results you want, I guess. The Malice, and for going first, we decided to run Shabrite. We wanted something that is resilient against removal, so Strike and Judgment didn't really feel like they would be the call, and I don't need anything going first against like fun decks, like Malice, basically. So this is only against decks that can actually go second without losing, which is basically decks like Ryzeal. And against Ryzeal, the game plan is you set up some kind of board, and if you have some kind of board, you will basically never die. So their win condition is to set you on 0 cards. And what this does is that they can never set you on 0 cards, because every time they do anything, they draw. So if you go first and you have any kind of board, so you cannot die, it doesn't matter what it is, might even be enough to have like 2 random bodies on the board. This card wins the game on the spot when it resolves. For the extra deck, we run this. because we don't want to lose to Slayer and Tronos and stuff like that, and against matchups where Dweller isn't as good, or like I'm making this generically going first, but like and I make Dweller instead if the deck I'm facing is like loses hard to Dweller. Basically, that's my logic, because everyone is playing Tronos and Slayer, and if this is on the board, the board is basically FTK, because you don't need like FTK. Let me put it in perspective. Like you cannot die with the board you have, and you have follow up guaranteed, and that's the plan of the deck, because next turn you just go X, send twins, and that is pretty much enough to seal the game. And then Typhoon, that is a no-brainer. This is the 2 targets for the spell. We run 2 detonators, 1 aggregator, 2 twins, 1 tornado, 1 duo, 1 Exciton, 1 Dugaris, and what I felt was kind of neat is Exorcista Azophil. Shouts to Ben for telling me about this, because like I was looking for a card that also face down detonator, because what happened to me a couple of times was that I would use a book on the detonator, and then it's set face down, and you can't really comfortably out it, because if you want to run over it, you have to run over it twice, which is sometimes really hard and costs a lot of cards. So making this to bounce it is really helpful, and it came up in a couple of game sets for me. So I feel like this is a very good addition. Yeah, and that is it for the deck profile. Let me think about further shoutouts. Shoutouts to Pascal, Maxi, and Semi for driving and yeah, traveling basically. Shoutouts to Max for almost borrowing the deck. And yeah,
All right.
Stay tuned.